Good Saturday morning out there to everybody, and welcome into the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown, presented by Sunshine Heating and Air and JR's Sports Bar and Grill. We'll be with you till 9 o'clock, as we always are on Saturday, and college football has ramped its way on down. High school football has finished. We got a game on the AHSA Radio Network today, and that will be the final one of the season. The Alabama-Mississippi All-Star Classic over in Hattiesburg, Mississippi, on the campus of Southern Miss. Cora LeBounty and Rick Cleveland for us will be calling that game, and you can listen to it right here on 97.5 Kalijah Country. So excited to hear that call. Talked to Jason Caldwell yesterday on Auburn Blitz, and he talked a little bit about the game. He actually won't be making the trip over there, but we'll talk about some of the players on both squads. Again, it's another pretty loaded roster for Mississippi and Alabama. Mississippi's really stepped it up the last few years. It really has had maybe a little bit better roster than us, and that's saying something. So the recruiting over in the state of Mississippi has really gone in the right direction, and Ole Miss and Mississippi State, we've seen them benefit from it. We've seen Alabama and Auburn benefit from it. We've seen LSU benefit from it. So Mississippi's starting to really produce some top-notch prospects.
Great athletes. And on the linebacking core and the defensive line is really where it stands out to me. We've also seen some outstanding receivers at Mississippi, and most of those guys ended up at Ole Miss, it feels like. And there's been some great ones, but the defensive line play is the one that stands out to me. The size and the strength that they're able to produce over there in Mississippi is really impressive. But it feels like other squads around the country have benefited from that great depth, maybe even more than Mississippi State and Ole Miss has. And Mississippi State has been one of those teams that has jumped into the state of Alabama and grabbed so many players.
Sure.
I remember doing a game with you over in Montgomery maybe 5 or 6 years ago where Mississippi State had 6 commits in the game. Auburn and Alabama had like 2 or 3 apiece.
I know.
And Mississippi State had 6 commits from the state of Alabama in the game.
It's pretty impressive.
So they took advantage of players that maybe didn't have a committable offer from Auburn or Alabama, and most of those guys, I like to watch those guys. You know, I said something to Andy this week when the Javion Cohen topic was brought up about him decommitting from Auburn and making a decision to go and commit to Alabama. And when that topic was brought up, I was like, look, here's the truth. I wish that the counsel would be a lot better for these young men, that they don't commit somewhere and then decommit. But for the most part, I'll be cheering for that guy too, because I want to see in-state guys, especially the ones that we see at these all-star events, go on and play well. And my gosh, we've had plenty, haven't we?
Yeah, well, we have. I heard you and Andy talk about it. We talked about it a little bit yesterday. The only thing that I'll say about Javion Cohen in that situation is you're right. I mean, from a leadership standpoint and telling somebody, and, now this is the 3rd team he's done that to, and he's not just catching flack from Auburn people. He's catching flack from South Carolina. And, with this territory, when you do stuff like that, it goes with it. It's just part of the game. So he made the decision that he wanted to make. I thought you said it best, that Gus Malzahn and that coaching staff, they read the handwriting on the wall. I read the handwriting on the wall the night before with the tweet that he put out. So, you know what? Be proactive, and let's all learn a lesson. Even with it being a kid, he learned a lesson. Obviously, Auburn has learned its lesson over the last 4 or 5 years being put into that situation. There's signing days coming up next week. I mean, why would Auburn sit around and think, oh, well, we're just going to we hear all this stuff that he might flip to Alabama, but let's just wait and see. And then you sit there and wait and see, and then all of a sudden he does, and now you're down a recruit.
There's 17, 18-year-old kids. You have to keep that in context. You have to put yourself in a 17, 18-year-old kid's shoes. And those of us and the silly people out there that get so upset about recruiting for these young men is so ridiculous to me. I can't stress it enough. It's nuts. Because if I was, let's just put it this way, Brett. Let's say that you didn't really have a committable offer from the school you wanted to go to. How about that? What about Braden Pritchard? has a couple of committable offers to 2 schools, and Auburn comes in within the last week, and he's been an Auburn fan his whole life.
You'll make a change.
He's going to change. And the idea that you're going to sit out there and blast someone or blast a young man is nuts to me. It really is.
But I think it got. I agree. I mean, that's fans. You got to take fans out of it. I'm just saying that I think that Auburn did the right thing. That they went out there and you said it the other day on Auburn Blitz. You know, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. And you know the way that stuff had gone down over the past several times with some recruits that Auburn had, and he had been committed to Auburn for a while. And then once you find out some information, don't make a big deal about it. Auburn didn't make a big deal about it. They just went out and said, look, they probably said, hey, we appreciate it. We wish you nothing but the best, but, you know, we're going to move in another direction. It's okay. Look, it flips both ways. The player has the right to say, I'm moving in another direction.
Coaches do,
and
too.
the university has the right to say they're moving in another direction. And then fans and the media and everybody else can make it what they want to make it. Yeah. And that's the unfortunate part about it. So I'm not bashing Javion Cohen. I just know that this has been talked about for a month.
Yeah.
You know, when you and I were down in Auburn, prior to that, people were like, well, I don't think Auburn's probably not going to get Javion Cohen. He's probably going to flip to Alabama. And then when you see the tweet come out and him dressed in an Alabama uniform and an Auburn uniform, you go, well, that's pretty obvious. And I think that's what Gus Malzahn did.
I think it's important for schools, in my opinion, to have a backup plan. I think we have been caught with our pants down one too many times at Auburn.
Exactly.
And that problem is not the kid's problem. It's not. Now, it's the counsel of the kid in my Mike Gundy, I'm 40 voice. You know, it's the counsel of the kid that sometimes you go, why do we have to do that? Just don't commit. Just wait till the last minute and make a commit then and move on. But my point is, I think over the last few years, we felt like we've had some linebackers and offensive linemen, and we struck out on signing day.
I think
we totally struck out last year on the linebacking. Of all places, I think we thought we had Dean.
Yeah.
I think we felt like we had 2 or 3 other guys. We didn't get any of them. And so then you're sitting there and you get 2 or 3 guys. Now, imagine what Travis Williams is doing coaching right now if he ends up with some really top-tier guys. He's got an all-SEC linebacker the last 2 seasons. And I think he will start getting those guys, Brett, in the short term. But I do think you have to learn a few lessons that, yeah, a 17-year-old kid, 18-year-old kid could change his commit within the last week, and it happens all the time. And it's not only Auburn and Alabama this happens to. It happens all over the country.
No, it does. It's just, once again, I think it was the timing, it was the situation, it was the team, and I thought it was appropriate. I thought that if, you know, and now, of course, he's going to come back and say he didn't have a scholarship offer pulled, that he decommitted and all that kind of stuff.
Who cares?
And it don't matter. I mean, that's up to him. It doesn't matter. Auburn didn't make a big deal out of it. They didn't make a big deal out of this. They didn't go out there and put him on blast. You know, once things hit a recruiting service website, or once things hit a message board, or once things hit, you know, Twitter, then fans are going to speculate and make their decision. Look, whatever you want to do, dude, go on and make your decision. But I just think finally, and we were on a text thread, I think finally Gus Malzahn got ahead of a situation in which there is nothing wrong with that. You go, look, I'm not going to sit here and be the team and be the school with pie on my face for the 4th or 5th time to the same school. And I think some of the fans have had some things in the back of their mind and some taste in their mouth that some things were orchestrated, not with him, with some previous guys, that they were like, well, you and I were very up close and personal with one that happened with Alabama Mississippi All-Star game a few years ago with T.J. Yeldon. You know, that at some point in time, though, the kid has to assume a little bit of responsibility because, and I think you said it Thursday, T.J. Yeldon knew by the time he interviewed with us that day on the sideline that he wasn't coming to Auburn. So why would you step up to a mic and say what you say? You know what I mean?
Yep.
I mean, that why would, you know, I agree that they're 17, 18-year-old kids, but they also have a mind, and they also know when something's right and when something's wrong. And we all knew that one kind of smelled awkward anyway. But we'll talk about some of these rosters coming up for the Alabama Mississippi All-Star game. The players, they make the game, obviously, and some late additions to both of these rosters because some guys decide they're not going to play because maybe they're a little banged up or they had, you know, a procedure that went on, so they have an opportunity to get some other players in the game that maybe weren't originally invited. So it's, somebody gets a chance here to shine. We've seen some of these guys that are added late shine in this game and end up getting maybe an offer that they didn't have before.
Yeah, I think Wallace Gilberry was one of those that many moons ago, it feels like, had that happen with him, an Alabama-Mississippi All-Star game, and Alabama comes in late and gives him a committable offer, and he takes advantage of it, ends up at Alabama, and has a great career there, and I think moves on and plays some in the pros as well. So that's what these games are. It kind of matches you up, skill set to skill set, with the best from each state, and it exposes some too. It exposes some that were superstars in high school that end up out here on this field, or actually we've seen it on the court where it's really recognizable in the Alabama-Mississippi All-Star basketball game, where you end up out there with some great talent and you go, man, I thought he was better than this.
Yeah.
Or I thought he matched up with the top-tier players better than this, and many times it's not the case.
Don't work out sometimes.
Yeah.
That's the way it goes. Some comments coming in, and we appreciate it. We'll get to those here in just a second. We're up against our first break of the program. Stay tuned. More of the Saturday Sports Countdown brought to you by Sunshine Heating and Air and JR Sports Bar and Grill right after this.
What's the verdict?
Can't fix your heat pump. Need a new one.
Uh-oh. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking Daikin.
Call on Kevin Kill in Sunshine Heating and Air at 256-825-4849, Central Alabama's premier Daikin dealer.
So what's he thinking?
Oh, he's thinking Daikin.
Daikin, one of the top selling in the world.
Now I'm thinking Daikin.
Daikin. Comfort for life.
Find everything you need for the perfect outdoor living space at Russell Do-It Center, like the Fire Rock Outdoor Conventional Fireplace, smartly designed masonry systems that are easy to install and are less than half the cost of a scratch-built brick and mortar fireplace. Weber Grills, the best outdoor gas, electric, and charcoal grills, which always come pre-assembled. Yeti Coolers, premium coolers and accessories that are the ultimate in design, performance, and durability. Russell Do-It Center, experience and knowledge from the pros.
The same professionals you've trusted with your urgent care is now your primary health provider, Main Street Family Care. We provide annual physical exams as well as monitoring health conditions such as high blood pressure, diabetes, asthma, and more. All major insurances accepted, Medicaid, Medicare, and have self-pay options to accommodate everyone. See us in Alex City, just across from Walmart. Your care is our primary concern.
Main Street Family Urgent Care. Heal better, feel better fast.
If you're seeing the American cockroach, throw up the red flag. Ladybugs, throw up the red flag. Ants and swarming termites, throw up the red flag. And kudzu bugs, throw up the red flag. That's Red Flag Pest Control. So the caution is on. Call Red Flag Pest Control today.
I'm Scott Davis with Red Flag Pest Control. Call me today, 256-825-0430.
Ladies and gentlemen, Kia of Auburn. Kia of Auburn on South College. New Kias at 0% APR financing and no payments for 90 days. Kia of Auburn. Kia of Auburn. Kia of Auburn.com.
This is Coach Pat Dye. At Kia of Auburn, you are always number one.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown, presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. We'll go down the rosters and all here in just a little bit, but there's some top performers in an article that came out with 24/7 that we'll talk about maybe on some of the on both sides, both Mississippi and Alabama, that have impressed in practice and some of the things. We've seen some of the press releases that have come out this week from Ron and some of the guys over there. But we'll go down some of these guys, and maybe it'll talk a little bit about where they're going to go. And I think that probably interests a lot more of you out there than just going down a roster and saying, you know, this guy's from South Panola, Mississippi. So we'll try to go down through here and hit as many as we can that have some solid offers to some schools in the SEC especially, and then maybe to some other schools, Randy. But the rosters, again, you know, you have some late additions, even to right up until the game, some of these kids will get called and get invited to come play in this game.
Well, there's 2 quarterbacks that are on the Alabama roster, and really a third. Christian Story, who is committed to Alabama from Lynette, will play all over the field. The coaches have kind of raved about his athleticism. He's now the touchdown leader here in the state of Alabama after a great career where he won 2 state championships at Lynette. He's listed at 6'2", 205 pounds. He'll wear 16 today. He may play receiver, may play H-back, may play in the secondary, may play quarterback as well. And there's no doubt he can throw the football well enough to play quarterback if you've seen him play over the years. Isn't that right, Brett?
Ain't no doubt about it. Great athlete, tremendous. Like you said, could play in a number of those positions. I don't know if you saw the video or not. I watched earlier in the week where they had moved Derek Shaw from Reeltown to outside linebacker. Man, they can't block him. And I mean, he may have found some type of position. They've been playing him there, but man, the video that I saw, he really looked like he'd been playing that position for 4 years. Was getting in the backfield, had some really quick moves off the line of scrimmage, was kind of disrupting some stuff in the backfield that I saw. That's another thing about some of these kids that have had to play either quarterback or wide receiver or running back because they may have been the best athlete on their team, but that ain't the true position for them. When they get to college, they may have a better fit, and he's going to South Carolina, and we saw him perform in a game where Reeltown had it taken to him by 5. He kind of shined. He had a 90-yard kickoff return for a touchdown. He went up and made a catch deep down the field in double coverage. He's just a tremendous athlete. And when you take a guy like that, most any college would take a guy like that because you can put him wherever you want to put him.
Well, his projection's really high, too, because he's, 6'3", 6'4", 205, 210 right now. He has plenty of length to be able to put some more weight on. He'll have a good career, I suspect, over at South Carolina. The other 2 quarterbacks, Sawyer Pate from Thompson High School, was the MVP of the state championship game in 7A where Thompson defeated Central Phoenix City 40-14. They listed him at 6'2", 203 here on this roster. I think he's closer to 6 foot tall. I do think the 200's about right. He can put it wherever he wants. He was dead on in that championship game. 11 of 13 in the first half for 173 yards and a couple of touchdowns in that championship game that we had. I don't think he's got a committable offer to anywhere that he really wants to go and play.
Yeah.
So a game like this could be very valuable to somebody like Sawyer Pate. The other quarterback today is Logan Smothers. He's from Muscle Shoals. He's 6'2", 190 pounds. So both quarterbacks kind of the imps of one another.
They are. We've seen some really highly touted prospects line up at quarterback for Alabama over the last 10 years, 10, 11 years. And we've also seen some guys that have some tremendous numbers that maybe don't have offers like these guys. So we'll see how all that plays out. I'll flip over as you go down the Alabama roster. I'm going to go down the Mississippi roster and talk about some of the key guys that you'll see today are here. And want to remind everybody, 97.5 will have the game on today. And Rick Cleveland, Corey LeBounty, I'm excited. Those guys are from Mobile. They know the feel of this game about as well as anybody. Corey studies this all year long and is familiar with the Mississippi kids along with the Alabama kids. So I'm looking forward to hearing the call of the game from them today because they'll do a great job. Due to the notes from 24/7 guys down at Hattiesburg, they said it's very obvious who the alpha dog is for Mississippi, and it's McKinley Jackson. And most people know who McKinley Jackson is and what a great defensive lineman he is and all the different offers he's got. But I'll just give you a little synopsis of what they've said to him. He said he is by far the most high-profile prospect at this event. It's because of his rare frame, his size, the effort. He said he just jolts offensive linemen when he comes off the line of scrimmage. Even more impressive is his quickness at the snap and ability to penetrate as a defensive tackle or a nose guard, wherever he wants to set up. So he kind of has the sound of a Derek Brown or, you know, a Quentin Williams or somebody like that that's just a dominant presence inside. He's taking official visits. He hasn't committed anywhere. Taking official visits to Auburn and Alabama and trips remaining in January to LSU, Ole Miss, and Texas A&M. So that's his 5 official visits, and he won't sign until February. So he's going to stay uncommitted and going to reserve his signing day until the late one in February.
Another name out here for the Alabama roster, and we'll kind of go back and forth, one that I don't know that has a big-time committable offer, Brett, but a good body, good frame, Jameis Mitchell from Opelika High School. We saw him up close and personal. 6'3", 220 pounds. He's an H-back. Opelika used him getting the football in his hands out of the backfield quite a bit. He's a projection guy. Good size, Brett, and I think the athleticism's there to play somewhere big.
Yeah, I mean, again, it goes back to, do you have the physical attributes? And some of these guys, look, some of us aren't born with the physical attributes to go play Division I college football. Others are. You may not have gotten an offer, or maybe the offers that you want at this point in time, and here you are graduated or about to graduate, and you're playing in an all-star game, and you're going, man. But if you go out and you have that ability, and you can, there's still opportunities out there for you to impress a college coach and get an offer late. So he's one of those guys. Again, most of these guys are going to be impressive on this roster. You don't get invited to this game unless you look the part most of the time. So he's got an opportunity, and again, we don't see practices. The game's kind of the culmination of the week, but everything that goes on during the week in the practices is where most of the college coaches are, where they get to go visit and go watch practice. They see the one-on-one drills and the things like we talked about with McKinley Jackson. McKinley Jackson may come in this game and may get double-teamed. So you don't get to see a lot of what he does, but then you go and watch him as a coach during practice, and you see him go one-on-one with offensive linemen, and you see him destroy every offensive lineman he goes up against. Every coach goes, I don't really care what he does in the game. I know what he can do, and I know what I can do with him if I can get him to my university, and that could be him. That could be Mitchell.
I'll run down one more for Alabama roster before we head off to this next break, and this is one. Where's Mike Petway going from Thompson? It's a name I've been saying for 3 years.
We'll look that up.
Petway, here's his size. The issue is he's 6'1", 180. Yep. Now, Auburn dives into Thompson High School and picks up another one last year that's a little bit more of this size, even though Petway's a little taller than we got with Javaris Johnson. But Petway runs away from 7A defenders. And he's had well over 1,000 yards receiving the last couple of years. No matter who the quarterback is, he's a player. He'll be one in an all-star game like this. If you can get some opportunities to get a football in a playmaker's hands, usually they make the difference in the ball game. For Alabama, Mike Petway, who's a receiver that had a big game in the 7A game as well, is one I would look for, Brett.
Yeah, he's listed at on his official profile at 6 foot. Let's see what it is. 5'10", 170 pounds. He has gotten an offer from Colorado State, Georgia State, Louisville, Arkansas State, and Coastal Carolina, and it seems like he's kind of narrowed it down to Colorado State, Georgia State, and Louisville. That's the 3 schools that he seems to be kind of making his decision from. Again, though, you know, somebody else could come in, have a good game, have a good week of practice, offer late. Remember, this is the early signing period, which, like Jason said yesterday, to him is the signing period. February is now the late signing period, as we call it, but you can wait until then and still sign with any college. Up against another break. Stay tuned. More of the Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
Growing your business isn't just one thing. It's a million little things. Should you lease, rent, or own? How fast can you get that part? Does it fit the budget? That's what your local Cat dealer is here for. With expert advice, flexible financing, and industry-leading equipment, you can get the job done day after day. Visit ThompsonCat.com, your compact equipment provider.
WOTM, your new home for high school sports in Alabama. WOTM has you covered with live coverage of all 7 championship games of the Super 7. WOTM is available to all TV providers in Alabama. If WOTM is not currently a part of your channel lineup, call your provider and request that they add WOTM. WOTM, your exclusive TV home for the AHSAA Super 7 basketball, baseball, and softball championships. All live only on WOTM.
What's behind the CA?
A world full of opportunities.
Where are you now? Where are you going?
Where do you want to be?
These are all important in determining your path in life.
More importantly, why be ordinary
when you can be extraordinary?
At Central Alabama Community College, you can be anything you wish to be.
Don't put your future on hold and don't settle for less than excellence.
We are Central Alabama Community College.
Central to you.
Central to your success.
Be the hostess with the mostest this holiday season at Chicken Salad Chick with our easy party catering. Need a quick appetizer? Stop by Chicken Salad Chick and grab a quick chick of any chicken salad flavor or the pimento cheese ball covered with crushed pecans and crispy bacon. Remember, no meal is complete without a sweet treat. For a limited time, our pumpkin cheesecake is back and it's delicious. Chicken Salad Chick can feed any holiday crowd with our custom fit catering. 12 flavors of chicken salad, there's sure to be something for every taste bud.
Skag, the toughest name in lawnmowers. Unmatched quality and performance for over 3 decades. The clear choice, the best mower money can buy for work or at home. Top lawn care professionals and discerning homeowners know that Skag means productivity and reliability. Every Skag mower is proudly built right here in the USA. Don't settle for anything less than simply the best. Skag.
Satterfield Outdoor Living on Highway 280 in Alex City.
So, you may not know it, but you've seen our work everywhere. For a combined 50 years, SignSource has been Central Alabama's premier option for all your sign needs. Custom signs for your business, club, or organization. Wraps and decals for your vehicle or boat. Full-color banners for your big sale, or a photo collage on canvas for grandma. All with fast, friendly, prompt service. Check out our website at signsourcenow.com. 888-533-6758. Go straight to the source. SignSource.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Saturday Sports Countdown, presented by Sunshine Heating and Air and JR Sports Bar and Grill. Some other guys here for the Mississippi side that you'll be hearing today. Jevin Banks, from a defensive end from Olive Branch, Mississippi. That's another high school that you hear over and over every single year that just puts out great talent. And this is another defensive lineman that's committed to Mississippi State. So Mississippi State and Ole Miss do a really good job of going in there, and they lose a few, which is understandable, but they do a good job, as you read down this list, of being able to hold on to some of the top-tier prospects in their home state. And you have to do that if you're going to be a competitive program in this conference, in the SEC. You've got to be able to hold your own. You're not going to get them all, especially with Alabama and Auburn and LSU bordering you, but you're able to go in there and keep a majority of them, just like Ole Miss did with DK Metcalf and A.J. Brown. You're able to hold on to the top 2 guys that you can look at now in the NFL are just taking, they're making it look easy. So we knew that when we called them in the Alabama-Mississippi game a few years ago. Alex Adams is a wide receiver from South Pike, Mississippi, that's very athletic, has extremely good straight line speed, and has really raised some eyebrows this week in practice to some coaches, so listen for that. Jamison Kelly is a safety from South Columbia. He's committed to Louisiana Tech. That's another program. There's all kind of schools in this area that go in and able to get some of these players. Jaden Wally, not Jaden Waddle, Jaden Wally from D'Iberville is another top wide receiver for Team Mississippi. He's committed to Mississippi State. So Mississippi State doing a really good job there. Jeremiah Pegues is a name that we've all talked about for several months. Auburn's been high on him. Alabama's been high on him. Obviously, Ole Miss, now with Lane Kiffin over there, has made him a priority and a target there. He's a wow type of player is what his description is. He's big, he's physical, and he's fast for his position. And now with Chad Morris, Randy, coming over and utilizing a tight end. Auburn's, we've all laughed and made fun of why in the world would you go to Auburn if you're a tight end with Gus Malzahn. Well, now with Chad Morris, if Chad Morris is allowed to do some things in this offense, he loves to target tight ends, and they're a big part of the offense of his passing game. So don't know where Pegues kind of sits. It's down to those three schools, but that can only help Auburn's chances. Obviously, Alabama likes to throw to the tight end in their offense. You look at the tight ends that we've seen over the last 10 years in Nick Saban's offense, no matter what style it is, they target that. And, of course, Ole Miss as well with Lane Kiffin would love to keep him in the state.
Yeah, and I think that, the question is still, until Gus Malzahn proves that outside of Lutzenkirchen he's willing to use a tight end. I don't care who the coach is, because we've seen multiple coordinators, and the storyline's always been the same. We're going to get the tight end involved, and then year in and year out, I don't even know where they are. I mean, they don't even play. They don't even end up out there on the field, and they transfer 2 or 3 years later, and you feel for them, because I do think that somehow we have gone out there and picked up some really good names and some high-end recruits.
Got some sitting on the roster right now.
So we'll see if Chad Morris is able to communicate the need for that, because a lot of other programs take advantage. Here's a name on the Alabama roster that many here in this state will look forward to listening to and watching in the next 4 years, heading over to the University of Alabama's linebacker Jackson Bratton from Muscle Shoals, 6'3", 230-pounder. They've got him listed as a defensive end and a linebacker. Brett, I saw him standing in a list of amidst all of the Alabama commits last night in a picture that he posted on social media, and he's standing beside Christian Story, who I know to be 6'2", 205 is legit.
Yeah.
That's not just to put on. He is 6'2", and Bratton is a big dude. Much larger guy than Story, and we haven't seen some of the, for a lot of us, you and I call games on Friday night. So other than a film, I don't see them up close and personal. But when I see them start standing with, and that was one thing the first year that we did the Alabama-Mississippi All-Star game 11 or 12 years ago that still stands out to me, is to watch these guys walk in a dinner atmosphere and to see the size and the length. And I was wowed when you got that kind of athlete in the room. And we've been around some good athletes, but I hadn't been around a group of athletes that, wow, you were their size. Even the secondary players, just long.
Well, this is a premier all-star game, probably the all-star game in the country. I mean, I know there's some other ones that are big. The Georgia-Florida game is obviously a big one, but it didn't get much better than the Alabama-Mississippi game. I mean, this is the ultimate honor if you're a high school player in either one of these states to be invited. If you're a top prospect, you're getting invited, and you expect it. I mean, you look at the kids and what they are in high school now and the sizes they are. It does. You know it, you read it on paper, but until you stand beside them and say, man, that kid's 17 years old. That kid's 18 years old. Or he's about to be 19. And you're like, man, he looks like he's been playing college football for 3 years.
Or think about in 7A. I remember saying this to you on the broadcast this year. Thompson had 2 sophomores starting at linebacker and another freshman that was playing. The 2 sophomores that were starting at linebacker were 6'2", 215 for one of them and 225 for the other. The freshman is at least that size.
I know it.
I think he plays a little bit of a different position than linebacker. But, I mean, 6'2", 215, 6'2", 225, sophomore linebackers. But, Brett, that's about what it takes to be competitive here in this state at this point. But that's a 15 or 16-year-old kid.
Got to have the physical attributes first.
Yeah.
And again, that doesn't mean that if you're undersized, you can't go out there and play well and turn heads. You can. But in the land of giants, okay, and I'm just using that as a paraphrase, I mean, your chances of excelling when you don't have the physical attributes are not as good as somebody that does. Now, that doesn't mean you can't go out and outplay somebody that's bigger and stronger and faster than you, because they may not give the effort you give. And we see kids all the time. I go back and refer to Alex Lincoln, and Alex Lincoln at Auburn was an all-SEC middle linebacker. And if you'd have looked at him and you would have said he would have played at Auburn and started, you'd have said, like that, but he just had such a IQ for where the ball was and where it was going, and he always beat you to the punch, and sometimes kids like that can emerge.
I get asked this question all the time, you know, because you and I are also local radio station, local broadcasters for our high school, and we'll get asked questions in our area. Is anyone from here playing in the game, or is anyone from Dadeville or Reeltown, and why are they not invited to play in the game? And my answer is quickly to them. Y'all, I mean, we've got some good players, but unless these attributes that Brett's running down are part of the kid that you're bringing up to me, unless they're exceptional, unreal, first team All-State.
That's right.
Then you're not going to. And there's a reason that you don't get big-time SEC offers. I'm sorry. If you're a 6'1", 260-pound offensive lineman, I don't know where you're going.
You're just not going to get an offer.
If you're a 5'10" or 5'11", 290-pound defensive lineman, you may be the best high school player, and you may match up with the guy that's going to end up getting the big-time offer. But I'm sorry. In this day and age, you're not going to get anything. If you're an outside backer that weighs 185 or 190 pounds and you're 6'1", you may be a great high school player. But, dude, I just reeled off what Thompson's rolling out there. None of them guys, other than maybe Jeremiah Alexander, will play in this game.
That's what I'm saying.
But they've got two sophomores that are 6'2",
we saw
225.
We saw Wetumpka have the same thing
down
there the last year.
Did either of them ever play in this game? I don't think so either.
Didn't play in the game. So didn't get an invite, but great players in high school. And unfortunately, when you look down at the paper, if the physical attributes aren't there on paper, you get overlooked unless you can turn heads in a camp or turn heads during the week of practice or something like that. That's unfortunately, that's just the business, the nature of it. Up against another break. Stay tuned. More of the Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
Growing your business isn't just one thing, it's a million little things. Should you lease, rent, or own? How fast can you get that part? Does it fit the budget? That's what your local cat dealer is here for. With expert advice, flexible financing, and industry-leading equipment, you can get the job done, day after day. Visit ThompsonCat.com, your compact equipment provider.
WOTM, your new home for high school sports in Alabama. WOTM has you covered with live coverage of all 7 championship games of the Super 7. WOTM is available to all TV providers in Alabama. If WOTM is not currently a part of your channel lineup, call your provider and request that they add WOTM. WOTM, your exclusive TV home for the AHSAA Super 7 basketball, baseball, and softball championships. All live only on WOTM.
What's behind the CA?
A world full of opportunities.
Where are you now? Where are you going?
Where do you want to be?
These are all important in determining your path in life.
More importantly, why be ordinary
when you can be extraordinary?
At Central Alabama Community College, you can be anything you wish to be.
Don't put your future on hold and don't settle for less than excellence.
We are Central Alabama Community College.
Central to you.
Central to your success.
Be the hostess with the mostest this holiday season at Chicken Salad Chick with our easy party catering. Need a quick appetizer? Stop by Chicken Salad Chick and grab a quick chick of any chicken salad flavor or the pimento cheese ball covered with crushed pecans and crispy bacon. Remember, no meal is complete without a sweet treat. For a limited time, our pumpkin cheesecake is back and it's delicious. Chicken Salad Chick can feed any holiday crowd with our custom fit catering. 12 flavors of chicken salad, there's sure to be something for every taste bud.
Skag, the toughest name in lawnmowers. Unmatched quality and performance for over 3 decades. The clear choice, the best mower money can buy for work or at home. Top lawn care professionals and discerning homeowners know that Skag means productivity and reliability. Every Skag mower is proudly built right here in the USA. Don't settle for anything less than simply the best. Skag.
Satterfield Outdoor Living on Highway 280 in Alex City.
So, you may not know it, but you've seen our work everywhere. For a combined 50 years, SignSource has been Central Alabama's premier option for all your sign needs. Custom signs for your business, club, or organization, wraps and decals for your vehicle or boat, full-color banners for your big sale, or a photo collage on canvas for grandma, all with fast, friendly, prompt service. Check out our website at signsourcenow.com. 888-533-6758. Go straight to the source. SignSource.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Saturday Sports Countdown. Going to run down some of these comments. We appreciate those. Two-man said, other than parents, friends, or coaches, what is offered as counsel for these athletics? For the most part, most parents and friends are not trained or educated for this. Patrick felt like Cohen was going to attempt to embarrass Auburn on that signing day, and he said Gus beat him to the punch and didn't make a big deal out of it, just kind of silently went in there and pulled the offer. So, you know, and again, it goes back to what we said earlier. If you got to feel, as a kid or a coach, that it's not going in the direction you want it to go in, you have the opportunity to stop it, and I think that's what happened there. Two-man said, I know teachers are trained, but thinking most youngsters are full of getting advice from them, hoping I'm wrong. Proof over time is saying this may be true. Patrick said, I've heard Eric Shaw has been playing really well. Yeah, we just talked about how he turned heads at practice. He says, I think Auburn may be starting to get back on him a little bit. We'll see. I don't know about that. Mitchell from Opelika is going to JUCO. He's going the JUCO route. So that is Jaquel Mitchell's younger brother. So he
looks just like him.
Yeah, he does. Have the opportunity to go JUCO there. You know, and you come out of JUCO. And again, you know, one of the important things is that there's a lot of great kids that go the route of JUCO that end up at a major university and end up going on and having great careers. So I know it's not the immediate thing that you probably want to do as a recruit starting at a junior college, but there could be worse options. You can go and you can play and get your grades where they need to be and then get to a university.
One more player out of Opelika that will be in the game today, Jalen Stinson. Stinson had a couple of plays in their playoff run that just totally swung the football game. I don't know what Jalen Stinson runs straight line speed, but this guy on the football field is the fastest out there in every game that we've seen. And he's heading to Louisville. Is that right? He's going to somewhere like that.
I think it's somebody else. You're real close there, but it may be them. So let's find out. We'll make sure. We don't want to speculate. We want to make sure that
it's a Louisville, Memphis type team that he's going to, and they've already had a really good offensive lineman head over to Memphis and have a tremendous career. Last name was Kaiser. Played center. I think he started practically every game that he was at Memphis. And buddy, if you've been at Memphis over the last 5 or 6 years, you've been at a good program.
You have.
Yeah, Drew Kaiser was his name. He was a great player in high school too.
He had, you know, and again, you see some of these programs that you go, well, if I go there, then maybe I can stand out. Maybe I can be a player instead of going to an Alabama or Auburn and sitting around for 2 or 3 years and before I get a chance. So you never know. It's all about where you think's the best fit for you. Jalen Stinson, Purdue is where it was. Purdue. I remember us talking about that before but when Ben Russell and Opelika played, we talked about him. But it says that he is a soft commit. Other schools with him, Duke, Southern Miss, Arkansas State. So, but Purdue, I mean, that's
if
you go play in the Big Ten, and we saw.
Well, if you name 4 schools and Purdue and Duke are in the top 4, something tells me he's like, I don't know the kid, but Chambers that ended up, I think he was the Scholar Athlete of the Year in high school, was an offensive lineman at Opelika, if you remember, and he's moved over, and he's been a 2-year starter there at Duke the last couple of years. I think he's going to be a doctor or something. He's through the roof in everything he does. But when you got 2 out of 4s, Purdue and Duke, sounds like another academic to me too.
Yeah, he committed back in August to Purdue, so he's been with them for a while. So we'll see if he actually puts his name on the line for Purdue. But it's a constant job for coaches in college to continue to recruit these kids. Just because you get a commitment doesn't mean anything's for sure, and doesn't mean anything is a lock, because they can make a decision right up until signing day. They can choose not to sign on this early signing day, which will be December 18th, by the way, this coming up week. Talked to Jason about it yesterday. Auburn's got 20 commits, expect to add 3 more before this Wednesday. So Auburn looks to be done pretty much with their recruiting class before the end of December. Last year it was the other way around. Auburn ended up with 16. They had a lot of work left to do. They had 11 guys, 9, 10, 11 guys they had to still go out and really battle for. And then the pool of available prospects is really smaller now. Now, there's a lot of higher-end prospects that wait till February, but you know you ain't going to go in there and get all of them that you're in for. So you run a chance of really falling short with your class. I think Gus Malzahn deserves some credit on that again. He's like, look, we ain't getting in that position again. We're going to get a majority of our work done. Alabama is going to have a majority of their signing class done. They'll have a few spots left for February that you can hold, and I think that's strategic. I think those coaches do that on purpose, because you don't want to fill everything up right here and then have a guy like that 5-star offensive tackle from Georgia that has wavered now and decided he's going to take some more visits. You want to have a spot for him if you have a chance to sign him. So
let me run down this, and I think this has become more of the norm, and this is also the reason that the early signing period's been such a really good thing for college football in general, because it goes on ahead and lets you put your decision, put ink on a paper, make a decision on when you're going to come to the school. Brett, 10 years ago, you didn't have a list like this heading over to the University of Alabama in the next month or so. But now this has become more of the norm. This is not an outlier. When you look down at the list and you have 25 of them and 15 of them's already made a decision that they're going to early enroll on your campus and get started in the weight room, started with training with the team. Here's the list for Alabama that's going to be early enrollees. Bryce Young, top quarterback in the country. He'll be an early enrollee. Drew Sanders, an athlete. Chris Braswell, a wide receiver. Roydell Williams, the running back out of Hueytown, will be an early enrollee. Jones Bell, the wide receiver, will be an early enrollee. Trayshawn Holden, Will Anderson, Demoy Kennedy, who is an inside linebacker playing in this game from Theodore, if I'm right, will be an early enrollee. Jackson Bratton, also playing in this game from Muscle Shoals, early enrollee. Jaquez Robinson and Malachi Moore, both cornerbacks, early enrollees. So let's count these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 11 out of their, 22 or 23 signees, so half are going to be early enrollees now.
You know, that's so much of an advantage for any program when you can get half your signing class to come on in at the break. I mean, because they're in your program, you got your hands on them. You're not sitting there trying to recruit them for 2 more months, and then waiting till summer for them to get in. I mean, you've sped the process up 6, 7 months. I mean, 6, 7 months make a big deal in this day and age. So these freshmen that come in, when we say they're freshmen, if they come in the middle part of the year, or
totally different than they were 10, 15, 20 years ago.
Ain't a guy walking in off the street in the middle of June going, "Hey, I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm here to sign my scholarship."
I'll start practicing with the freshmen here in the next month or so, and I'll get a couple of weeks in before the main team comes out. That was the old school story. Now they're around. They're pretty much part of the team for a half a year before they're even out there in the fall.
They're almost a sophomore by the time the season starts. Up against the break. Stay tuned. More of the Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
The same professionals you've trusted with your urgent care is now your primary health provider, Main Street Family Care. We provide annual physical exams as well as monitoring health conditions such as high blood pressure, diabetes, asthma, and more. All major insurances accepted, Medicaid, Medicare, and have self-pay options to accommodate everyone. See us in Alex City, just across from Walmart. Your care is our primary concern.
Main Street Family Urgent Care. Heal better, feel better fast.
WOTM, your new home for high school sports in Alabama. WOTM has you covered with live coverage of all 7 championship games of the Super 7. WOTM is available to all TV providers in Alabama. If WOTM is not currently a part of your channel lineup, call your provider and request that they add WOTM. WOTM, your exclusive TV home for the AHSAA Super 7 basketball, baseball, and softball championships. All live only on WOTM.
Growing your business isn't just one thing, it's a million little things. Should you lease, rent, or own? How fast can you get that part? Does it fit the budget? That's what your local cat dealer is here for. With expert advice, flexible financing, and industry-leading equipment, you can get the job done day after day. Visit ThompsonCat.com, your compact equipment provider.
Expect it or not, the loss of a loved one is difficult. Put your family first by planning ahead. This is Joseph Dean, new owner of Alabama Funeral Homes and Cremation Centers. We are a full-service funeral home with an on-site crematory and cemetery. Whether your need is immediate or you would like to plan in advance, our experienced, compassionate staff can assist you in designing an enduring memorial experience, burial, or cremation. Alabama Funeral Homes and Cremation Centers on Highway 280 in Camp Hill or online, alabamafuneralhomes.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, Kia of Auburn. Kia of Auburn on South College. New Kias at 0% APR financing and no payments for 90 days. Kia of Auburn. Kia of Auburn. Kia of Auburn.com.
This is Coach Pat Dye. At Kia of Auburn, you are always number one.
I'm Jimmy Goree with Goree's Furniture. We would like to invite you to come shop our huge selection of furniture. But if you don't have time, we have over 2,000 items you can have shipped directly to your home. Go to GoreesFurniture.com, look for 48-hour quick ship. Shop, click, ship, it's just that easy. You can shop us here, or you can shop us online, only at Goree's Furniture.
Your express way to saving.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Saturday Sports Countdown, last segment here in the first hour. Really been talking about the Alabama-Mississippi All-Star game and the players that are going to be playing in this game coming up here at noon on 97.5 Kalijah Country. You can catch it right here. Make sure you tune it in. Rick Cleveland and Corey LeBounty will be calling the game for us. Excited to hear their call. They'll do a great job with it. They'll give you a lot of added bonus stuff about these players during the game. So just your honest opinion. I hadn't asked you this question, so I'm kind of putting you on the spot. Looking at the roster and we don't know as much about Mississippi's as we do Alabama, where would you grade this roster for Alabama? I mean, we've seen there's always good players, okay? I mean, we're not questioning, are the players good? We know that if they're playing in this game. But comparable to some of the rosters we've seen, where do you think about this roster?
Well, it's not top-of-the-line recruiting in this state this year is just not there. You don't see 3 or 4 5-star guys. You don't have 8 or 10 4-star guys on this roster. You've got some good high school players that have a lot to prove. And maybe that's a good thing because in some of these years where we've had some premier teams, they've gone out in this game and just laid an egg. Played poorly, players that haven't played well. And so it's kind of hard to say how this game plays out based off of what star you are and how many of them you have. I think this is a good roster for Alabama. I think that the quarterbacks are overlooked. If Sawyer Pate can't play college football, then I'm missing something.
He really has an opportunity in this game, I think, to erase whatever doubts out there from these college coaches. Obviously, they know his numbers. They've seen him play, but they haven't pulled the trigger for whatever reason. Today could be that day he comes out and performs against the best Mississippi can put out on the field and go, yeah, okay, that's what we've been waiting on. And then offers come flooding in. Because you've got an opportunity over the next 2 months to decide where you want to go and take some official visits and all that. So he's got an opportunity laid out in front of him today to come out here and shine and say, look, you can take whoever you want to and put them against me. I'm gonna be able to compete with the best.
Well, and that's how I was going to close my thoughts here, is that this is a game where there are some marginal players that really have an opportunity to shine and get some of the spotlight on them that haven't been on them by some bigger programs. And the bigger programs still have some openings.
They do.
There's still some opportunities there. So, one of the players I brought up is Mike Petway. Petway's a tweener, size-wise. Sure has worked out well for Alabama to go out and get tweeners lately. Would you agree with that?
It has.
Think it's worked out for Auburn with Ryan Davis being a tweener?
Absolutely.
Think that guy, you think we've had many better receivers over the last decade than him?
Or punt returners.
So Petway's one from Thompson. I don't know. Every time I watched him play in 7A, he outran everyone that he matched up with. Made one play after another and had over 1,000 yards receiving, both with Talia Tungavailoa and also this year with Sawyer Pate. So, there's opportunities there, and so it makes it a little bit more fun. I think when you're going in and you're the big-time TD Moultries and some others that I can think of down the list that you've known where they're going and they really don't have much to prove. Not that they don't play well in this game, because A.J. McCarron's been the best player I've ever seen in this game.
He has.
But there's more to prove. I think you get a little bit more out of them when it's that. And I think Eric Shaw still has a lot to prove. Eric Shaw's got a South Carolina committable offer, and he's committed there. I don't know how much he has interest in Alabama. I don't know how much he's interested in Auburn. Who knows? I don't know that he's got offers from either of those two. But if he keeps playing the way that he does with the size that he has, he'll get one.
According to his sheet, he had offers from Tennessee, Auburn, South Carolina, his top three there, and that's who he chose from on our Twitter feed on the HSA Radio Network.
And I'm not saying I know any different.
No, and I don't either. I mean, but we don't know what goes on behind the scenes. I mean, that all we can do is go off what they list. And I know that Auburn maybe had him wanting to play him at a different position that he wanted to play, and South Carolina said, well, okay, we'll take you and play you at the position you want to play. And that has a lot to do with kids signing as well. And, not that I don't think Christian Story can play quarterback at Alabama, but his big deal is having a shot to play quarterback. And Alabama told him, and I know sometimes coaches and all will tell a kid what they want to hear to get them on campus. And that may be the fact. Christian Story may end up playing quarterback at Alabama. I don't know.
I think he can.
But here's the deal.
Every time I've seen the football come out of that young man's hands, it's not put on. This guy's got a really good arm. He's groomed well. He's mobile out of the pocket. Today's game's different than it was 20 years ago.
Totally
My
different.
gosh, the idea that a kid, just because he's coming out of a 1A, 2A program like Lynette, but that's another good one. He's got an opportunity to show if they put him out there at quarterback today, which I think they're going to move him all over the place. I think he will get a chance there. And if he does well, then there aren't those question marks going into the fall camp or the spring. I mean, he's not enrolling early because he's finishing out basketball.
That's exactly right.
Probably the only reason is because they're a state championship contender in basketball, and he's one of their best players. I think that's the only thing that keeps kids on campus now. Do you agree?
That's the truth.
If you're a basketball star or a baseball star and you get a big-time football committable offer and you're signed, sealed, and delivered in December, I don't think that anything other than you wanting to stay around and try to win a state championship keeps you around anymore. It's very easy to get through the school. You're in the college game. How easy is it for high school students to get dual enrollment and get enough credit hours to be ready to head on out?
A lot of them getting 30 to 40 hours, some as many as, now an athlete's hard to do, but some students are graduating from high school at the same time they're getting their 2-year degree in community college.
Is that right?
Oh yeah, 60 hours starting as a junior. Really would be starting as a freshman, starting as a college junior.
That's very smart.
Watched it happen several times over the last few years. Up against the top of the hour break. Stay tuned, more of the Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
If you haven't been to Big B Barbecue in Alex City, then you're missing the best barbecue around. Big B has everything from the best pulled or chopped pork, chicken, and beef to cheeseburgers and grilled chicken salads. Bring your friends and family out for a great dinner and sit outside on our beautiful patio, or sit inside and enjoy your meal by the fireplace. So come in and join us and enjoy the best barbecue in the area only at Big B Barbecue, located on Highway 22 West in Alex City.
WOTM, your new home for high school sports in Alabama. WOTM has you covered with live coverage of all 7 championship games of the Super 7. WOTM is available to all TV providers in Alabama. If WOTM is not currently a part of your channel lineup, call your provider and request that they add WOTM. WOTM, your exclusive TV home for the AHSAA Super 7 basketball, baseball, and softball championships. All live only on WOTM.
Since the dawn of time, mankind has needed tools. But not all tools are created equal. AGF Machine Rental Sales and Service has tools for all commercial construction or big residential projects. AGF Machinery offers the most durable and hardworking brands of ASV, Skyjack, and Wacker Neusen. Aerial lifts, scissor lifts, loaders, excavators, and forest equipment on demand for the best possible price. And backed by the Southeast's best team of professionals. Visit any of our strategic locations across Alabama for all your equipment needs. Or online at agfmachinery.com.
So, you may not know it, but you've seen our work everywhere. For a combined 50 years, SignSource has been Central Alabama's premier option for all your sign needs. Custom signs for your business, club, or organization. Wraps and decals for your vehicle or boat. Full-color banners for your big sale, or a photo collage on canvas for grandma. All with fast, friendly, prompt service. Check out our website at signsourcenow.com. 888-533-6758. Go straight to the source. SignSource.
J.A. Smith Construction, with 19 years experience, is your trusted choice for construction. Site clearing and grading for new home construction, basement excavation, concrete paving, storm drain installation, fish ponds, and slough dredging. No job is too big or too small. Call Alexander at J.A. Smith Construction at 334-531-0199 or email asmith@jasmithconstruct.com. J.A. Smith Construction, your trusted choice for construction.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. We can't thank both of them enough for what they do for our program. Been long-time sponsors here on the Saturday Sports Countdown, bringing you this program every single Saturday. Some other comments coming in. Patrick, did solidify what we looked up. Stinson to Purdue. Toolman said, and with the transfer portal, even after they sign, recruiting's never over for these college coaches. So a kid inside, I mean, look, how many times have we seen now a kid go to probably the highest profile one we can use right now? And this is a good segue to something I want to talk about with this Heisman Trophy. Is college football so unbelievably different? I want to go back and look in the 80s, 70s and 80s at kids that sat on the bench at a bigger school like Alabama or Auburn or Florida or wherever that had to sit there for 2 or 3 years because somebody beat them out and was playing in front of them, but they could have gone somewhere else and played and probably had a star-studded career. We could probably go back and look at the potentials on that. But Randy, look right now at the 4 Heisman candidates. Justin Fields, maybe the highest profile transfer portal guy. If you look up in the encyclopedia or dictionary 40 years from now, which I know there's no encyclopedias anymore, I'm just going, if you look that up, and you see the definition of transfer portal, it's going to have Justin Fields' picture beside it because he was really the first high-profile guy to take off from a really big school, a #1 recruit, to go to another place, and now he's going to have a chance to win a Heisman Trophy. I think obviously Joe Burrow is going to win it, but he's a finalist for it. Look at Joe Burrow, Ohio State, can't play here, go down to LSU, you're probably going to win the thing. This has been a round robin of Jalen Hurts. I mean, Alabama, thank you for your time. We appreciate it. We got another great quarterback here. He's better than you. move on. Now all he's done is go to Oklahoma, and he's one of the 4 finalists, and he has Oklahoma in the playoff. This is the wildest setup in college football that you'll ever see.
And I think from a kid standpoint, which is the way I always spin my opinions here, they've all made the right decisions for themselves.
They have.
And it needs to happen more.
Well, this is proof that it has been the right decision.
It needs to happen more, and that is, I'm going to get grief from that. But here's the truth. Not all systems are built for every skill set. They aren't. I mean, Fields, I'm not sure that Georgia changes up their philosophy enough on the offensive side of the ball to show him off this year. Do you think they would have?
I think that Kirby would have still done what he's doing with Jake Fromm. It's run first, play defense.
Joe Burrow last year at LSU, without a change in system, 16 touchdown passes, 6 interceptions.
Is that the most unbelievable change in numbers you've ever heard from what he did last year to what he's thrown? Has he thrown 48 touchdowns this year?
Oh, yes. And
16 last year, 48 this year.
Get beat by Alabama 29-0 at home. At home in Louisiana, they get beat 29-0 to Alabama. They almost score 50 this year and shut it down in the third to try to run some clock.
Joe Brady won the Broyles Award for the best assistant, and nobody was. I know Kevin Steele did a great job at Auburn, but nobody came close, in my opinion, to him in that award. He deserved it 10 times because of what he did. He changed LSU football, and Ed Orgeron deserves the credit for going, okay, what am I going to do to take LSU to the next level? We're 10-2 every year, and we cannot beat Alabama. What can I do? What are we doing wrong? Well, we don't throw the ball well enough. We don't have a good enough. All these great LSU teams where they have been deficient at quarterback.
True.
And you go, man, how in the world does LSU, is all the talent in the world, not have a quarterback that can go out there and drive an offense down the field on a consistent basis and put points on the board? And they've struggled in that area. They've had to rely on the Leonard Fournettes and the really good running backs and the big offensive lines and a stellar defense to win their games. That ain't the case anymore. Their defense has suffered a little bit. They're still a good defense, but their defense gave up more points this year than they're used to giving up. But you know what they said? It don't matter. We got the best quarterback in the country. We got the best offensive coordinator in the country. We're just going to outscore you. And that's what it's taken. And, you know, we heard that on air from, Gary Danielson and some of these other announcers in the SEC championship game that came out and said, look, the day and age of just having a really good defense and a run-hungry offense are over. You can't win championships with that philosophy anymore. You've got to have an offense that scores points.
Here's back to my point on the quarterback play too, though. You know, you do have to try to look for a program that knows the skill set, can coach that skill set, but believe in you. Look at the Baltimore Ravens right now.
Man.
Harbaugh believed in Lamar Jackson.
When nobody else gave him a chance.
He believed in him. He believed in him from the get-go, and then once he got him there, he definitely believes. He's 22 years old. Lamar Jackson's about to win the NFL MVP.
And deserves it.
Oh, man.
And I love how he's embraced it in the press conferences when they talk about how, how good of a game he's had, and he gets up there and goes, I'm pretty good for a running back, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, and he says it tongue-in-cheek and laughing, but that's what he's heard his whole life, is that you'll never make it in the NFL. But I'll tell you what we've seen, and I've always noticed this, the NFL is behind college football when it comes to trends. Because NFL, in their mind, is this is who we are. We're a 2 tight end, I formation, pro-style quarterback. This is what we're going to run in, and you better fit our profile or you're not going to play up here. Well, they're changing that now because college football's changed. The types of quarterbacks that it takes to win, you're starting to see more Russell Wilsons, more Lamar Jacksons, more Cam Newtons, more of those type of guys that can run around and extend plays and make things out of nothing.
But I don't necessarily think that's the only system that works.
But it's not.
But that's the beauty of football. My point is that system does work. You as a coach have to know what you coach the best.
That's right.
It's been my major concern with Auburn as Gus Malzahn leads the offense. The best version of that offense to me is 13 and 14. And it's with Nick Marshall, who will never throw a pass in the pros. He's not a pro quarterback, but, man, he was a system quarterback, and he was a darn good one. I would take one just like him every single year in that system. you can't be stubborn enough not to know where your strengths are. And I'll go to just high school, which is where mine and your bread's butter. I watched Thompson High School throw it all over the park. They got a quarterback in Sawyer Pate that you'll see today. He threw for 4,000 yards, 43 touchdowns, and 3 INTs. He can run it a little bit, but that's not what he does.
That's right.
And it works out perfect for them. You see other teams out there that have a 2,000-yard rushing quarterback throw for 600 yards in 15 games, by the way.
That's right.
It works out perfectly for them. They win championships. Yeah, you can't be stubborn enough not to take advantage of what you get. And I feel great for these. Like Jalen Hurts. Do I think Jalen Hurts, if he was still at Alabama, would have came over to Auburn and beat that Auburn defense throwing the football all over the park if we'd have stopped him running the ball? Nah. Didn't work out for him in 2017. I think they scored 12 points with him at quarterback in 2017.
Yeah.
But he goes to Oklahoma, and he gets a chance to run around, gets a chance to make plays on the move.
He does.
Now he's a Heisman Trophy finalist, and deservedly so, and he's handled himself extremely well. So the point is, you're stubborn enough to say that you just stick somewhere. No, don't stick anywhere. Try to get somewhere where people appreciate who you are.
Yeah, I talked to a good friend of ours the other day, Stacey Davis. He won't mind me mentioning his name. We talked about this, and he said exactly what you said, and I told him, I said, you just reiterated what Randy said. When Gus had a chance to recruit Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
And chose Tyler Queen.
Yeah.
And he said, if you were comparing, he said, look, at the time Tyler Queen, highly profile, Lamar Jackson, highly profile, he said, why would you not, knowing that Nick Marshall's the best version of your offense, would you choose Tyler Queen over Lamar Jackson? And then it just doesn't make sense what he goes out and picks. That's the frustration. It's what I said on Gary's show yesterday. I said, I think Auburn fans genuinely want to like Gus Malzahn. They don't want a coaching change. They don't want to have to go through the hullabaloo that programs have to go through when they change coaches. He shows you what he can do. He proves from time to time he can be the best in the country. But then he goes out and does that kind of stuff. It's like he's fighting some inner demon. That, hey, I got to do it this way. I can win this way, but I want to win this way instead. I don't understand it, man. I don't have answers for it. Up against another break. Stay tuned. More of the Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area a team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
Hey Realtors, do you know about LMG Ad Agency? We build your brand and help sell your properties or a unique lifestyle so you can focus on your clients. We focus on professional photos, videos, aerial photography and videography, and commercial real estate. We'd love to tell your story. Contact us today at 256-392-4250 or visit our website at lmgadagency.com.
Hey, slow down, buddy. This ain't Talladega, and that race car driver's number on your back window, you ain't him. Truth is, just 10 miles over the speed limit, and your chances of killing someone are 4 times higher. So forget the number on your window and memorize the one on that orange prison jumpsuit. Stop speeding before speeding stops you.
Drive safe, Alabama. A message from your Alabama Department of Transportation.
You already know the power and reliability of a Mahindra tractor. Get ready to meet their ATV and UTV lines. Haul more and tow more. Do more. Reaching speeds up to 60 miles an hour. Models have a 12-inch ground clearance and the ability to haul up to 1,200 pounds. There's a Mahindra utility vehicle and a model specifically to get the job done. Test drive today at Lake Martin Tractor and Outdoor. Serving Tallapoosa, Coosa, Clay, and Talladega counties. 256-392-3613.
Alex City Marines, located on Cherokee Road in Alexander City, and the Yerkes invite you by to see what they have available today. The 2020 Manitous and Landaus are in, and boy, are they gorgeous. Also, some great deals on demos. Take advantage of that while they last. Alex City Marine also is doing shrink wrapping, storage. Get in line now. In fact, call this number, 256-215-FISH. Alex City Marine, Alex City.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Saturday Sports Countdown. 45 minutes left in today's show. Some other comments coming in. Brian said, look at Brent Fullwood behind Bo. And we were talking about players sitting on a bench, maybe having to wait their turn back in the day before there was a transfer portal. Well, let me term it to you like this first to kick it into a conversation we had off camera. Do you think Brent Fullwood would have entered the transfer portal while he was at Auburn if it would have been available?
I don't. I think it's completely different at a running back and quarterback. I really believe that. Now, I'll have to pull up Fullwood's stats and see how often he touched the ball in games. But let's just go back to Joey Gatewood. Let's go to Jalen Hurts, who's the biggest one here in this state.
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts, who had been a 2-year starter,
29-2,
gets a quarterback that comes in that everyone, including me and you, know is a better option for what Alabama's got at the receiving corps. And it all played out that way on the field. But Jalen Hurts is not playing. He's hardly playing ever unless they're up. You know, he has no meaningful snaps until Tua gets hurt in that SEC championship game. He would have had no meaningful snaps in the national championship game unless Clemson takes it to him like they did, and then he comes in late.
Yeah.
My point is he's not in the mix. He's not part of it. Running backs are. Running backs, my gosh, even then, you needed 2 or 3. Back then, you ran the ball so often.
You still need 2 or 3, and you know that's a good point. It's a different position.
It's just different. Linebackers, you're gonna play, and you're gonna play a lot. You may not be the starter, but you're gonna play. If you're one of the top 4 or 5 linebackers, you're gonna get out there on the field.
No doubt.
Defensive lineman, heck, you're in and out
You're
all the time.
having to rotate the whole time.
So yeah, I don't see the same.
It's the quarterback position. It's the high profile one.
And as a quarterback, you can't sit over there and write. You can't. And sometimes the writing's on the wall with offensive coordinator changes that the system is not going to show you off best. It's not. And it's a tough decision. You may say, well, that's not the old school way. Well, fine.
And we've seen it work out with Tate
Tune into the Heisman Trophy presentation tonight. We got 3 of them up there. 3 of them that made a decision to transfer, and all 3 of them worked out perfectly well for them.
And I was going to say that's one side of it. You can be a Tate Martell and bounce all over the place and it not work out.
Yeah.
And you find out that maybe you aren't as good as you thought you were. And I mean, it's not a cut, but then you go, man, I should have started here. I should have been the starter. I can't play, so I'm going to go start somebody else. And then you transfer to that place, and you don't start there either. So it just happens that way.
Just because we were talking about it during the break, I'll bring it up here. So back to your Fullwood question. Would he have entered the transfer portal?
Yeah.
Here was his stats at Auburn. He didn't hardly play much in 83. So he only had 90 yards rushing in 83 when he was
Now, this was back in the day where freshmen didn't play a lot.
Right. Okay, in 84, he has 628 yards rushing and 7 touchdowns. Touched the football a lot, by the way. 5.4 yard average. So he had well over 100 carries there in that 84 year. 85, 92 carries, 684 yards, 6 touchdowns, 7.5 yards per carry.
Good Lord.
And 86, 167 carries, 1,391 yards, 8.3 yards per carry, 10 touchdowns. So my point is, he played a ton.
8.3 yards a carry.
8.3 yards a carry his senior year.
Good Lord.
Yeah. He had a great career.
That's in an offense where you knew Auburn was going to run the ball 80% of the time.
He had 7.2 yards per carry average during his career at Auburn.
He was top,
4th overall pick.
Top recruit coming out of high school. Auburn gets him and then ends up being drafted 4th by the Green Bay Packers. You know, and look, do you hear a lot of Auburn fans talk a lot about Brent Fullwood? You don't hear him talk. I mean, he was a great player at Auburn. His numbers were great. He just didn't get. I mean, he just was overshadowed by some guys, and it's no cut on him. I mean, he lived up to the billing from high school, lived up to the billing going into the pros. It just some players get higher praise and more profile exposure. Talking about these guys that are up for the Heisman tonight, I think it's a foregone conclusion who's going to win it. But it's an honor to be invited to be one of the four. There's a defensive guy in the mix in Chase Young. Two Ohio State guys sitting up here, in the mix. And Justin Fields is a transfer from Georgia. Joe Burrow is a transfer to LSU from Ohio State. And like you said, Jalen Hurts is a transfer from Alabama to Oklahoma. And all three are up for a Heisman. If they don't transfer, none of the three are sitting here. They're not in New York tonight in a Heisman ceremony. So I want you to think about the decisions and how that changed the events of time. Think about those three guys if they'd have just said, I just want to see where I am, and I'm going to be a career backup. Who would be the three guys? Whose place did they take tonight? Think about that.
That's a good question.
Whose place did they take tonight that they didn't? That if they would have stayed in their original position, would not have been there. So, I mean, that's how college football has changed. And I'm with you. I think it's changed for the better. I don't think it fits everybody. I don't think because you go over there to a school that you're entitled to a position, and if somebody doesn't give it to you, you just take your ball and go run somewhere else. I'm not saying that's Tate Martell, but I got a feeling that's Tate Martell. Okay? Justin Fields, did not see him playing. He didn't play last year. He wasn't going to play this year. Kirby Smart made his decision to go with Jake Fromm. Hard to bench a guy like Jake Fromm and what he'd done for that school. So Justin Fields decides to go to Ohio State. Joe Burrow's the same way. I'm not going to play up here. They don't like me in this situation. I'm going to go to LSU, who needs a quarterback. I'm going to have a chance to shine down there. Man, it's a great opportunity. Jalen Hurts could have just mailed it in and said, okay, I've had a great career at Alabama. I'm just going to move on. I'm just going to graduate, and I'm going to finish, and football's over for me. And that, he writes another chapter for himself at Oklahoma. I think it's a wonderful opportunity.
I think he writes a great chapter at Oklahoma, too. And I don't know any Alabama fans that aren't Jalen Hurts fans at this point. And I don't blame them. I would be, too. He's handled himself exceptionally well. I think if he wants to be a top-tier college or pro coach, he's going to have that opportunity because he has that glitz about him. He has that calm demeanor about him that gives me a little Mike Tomlin feel.
Yeah.
Just a real confident guy that has leadership qualities that you gravitate to. I think Jalen Hurts has all of those. I think he'll finish runner-up tonight. I think Justin Fields will finish third and Chase Young fourth. And I think Joe Burrow has a chance to, from a voting standpoint,
win it by a big margin.
As close to Herschel Walker's margin as we've ever seen. Herschel Walker, I think, still has the widest margin of victory in his junior year at Georgia. Of any Heisman Trophy winner that we've seen, Joe Burrow may win it by that much.
I think so. Cam Newton had a chance to win it by that much with all the and Andy brought this up yesterday, with all the controversy and everything that surrounded Auburn and Cam Newton that year. Some people just didn't put him on the ballot because of it.
Yep.
So if that would have been a clean sailing year for him from a controversy deal, he could have challenged that as well. But I think you're right. I think Joe Burrow wins hands down. It's not close. Not a knock on the other three guys, but that's just how much better he has been this year. And that team's undefeated. The team, the offensive numbers are unbelievable. He's the reason they're unbelievable. He's a shoe-in.
And we'll talk about this in the next segment, but I'm interested to hear from you. Andy and I talked about it on Thursday, but where do you think Joe Burrow this year, where do you think he fits in quarterbacks that we've seen in the SEC maybe in your lifetime or my lifetime? We'll talk about that. And not only where he fits in now, but how he projects in the pro game, because everything that I hear from him is what you want to hear from someone that's about to be uber successful at the pro game.
The comparisons to him and Brady.
Well, he's obsessed.
He's a better athlete.
He's totally obsessed with what he's doing out there, and he seems like he's obsessed with being the leader that most football-type players gravitate to. He's tough, No sliding from him. Big-time guy that looks like he outworks everyone in the locker room. He has a lot of the things, and here's the main thing. He's pinpoint. Accurate with the football, throwing the football around the park.
Up against another break. Stay tuned. More of the Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
Scotty Fortenberry is Dadeville and the Lake Martin area's full-service Alpha agent. His office on Broadneck Street offers comprehensive life, home, auto, and boat insurance at Alpha's competitive rates. Scotty and Alpha Insurance are Alabama's #1 life insurance company for a reason. You'll always get the personal attention you and your family need. Scotty also has your commercial needs covered, so whether it's just a quote or full insurance evaluation, call Alpha agent Scotty Fortenberry at 256-825-9211.
Become a member of the Superior family. Superior GMC Cadillac, Superior Hyundai, or Superior Automotive Pre-Owned. Between our 3 dealers in East Central Alabama, we offer the superior selection and service for any buyer's needs. All with the personal touch of being locally family-owned and operated. Check out any of our dealers online, or our 3 great lots in Anniston on Quintard, or our pre-owned superstore in Pell City, and join the Superior family of value.
Heritage South Credit Union in Alexander City is your community credit union, and they have been for over 80 years. Heritage South Credit Union proudly serves Tallapoosa, Coosa, Lee, Chambers, Randolph, and Chilton counties. From checking to business accounts, to share savings to club accounts, to their kids club and investments. Visit them online at myhscu.com. Heritage South Credit Union, your community credit union for 80 years. Federally insured by NCUA.
Did your team just win the big game? Are you looking for a unique way to honor a valuable employee? Lila's Engraving has you covered, offering a large selection of custom trophies and plaques. Lila's also offers cast aluminum car tags, custom engraved wine glasses, clocks, and wood cutting boards. They even offer custom framing for any art or picture as well. Lila's combines the best quality items with the fastest service around. With over 27 years of experience in the Alexander City and Lake Martin areas, Lila's Engraving is your only choice for custom awards and engraved gifts. Always remember, winners choose Lila's.
Guys, it's back! Inline skating.
Rock and roll hair?
Calling this thing a pound sign instead of a hashtag?
No, the Zensation is back at Zaxby's.
The Zensation Salad is back, and introducing the new Zensation Filet Sandwich Meal with hand-breaded chicken, Asian slaw, wonton strips, and citrus vinaigrette, both served with an egg roll. The Zensation Salad and Filet Sandwich Meal, only at Zaxby's.
The door is open, the beer's cold, and the biscuits are hot at Foshee Sportz on Dadeville Road in Alexander City. Fishing season is in year-round and live bait is available. Non-ethanol gas is available along with propane and pellet ice. So come on by and see what we're all about, where the kitchen is open Monday through Friday early at Foshee Sportz on Dadeville Road in Alexander City. And tell them old Katie sent you right here from the front porch, WAXC TV.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Saturday Sports Countdown. 30 minutes left in today's show. Appreciate all the comments that have come in and the interaction. We appreciate that every single Saturday.
Did you see the recent, I don't know if it was Saturday Down South or who did this, but they named the top 150 or 200 coaches in college football history?
I did, yep.
Gosh, I
1
mean,
and 2.
When Alabama gets 1 and 2, and Bear Bryant and Nick Saban, would you have any problem with that, or who would be your top 5? I'm interested to hear.
I mean, definitely, I think those two are very deserving from what they accomplished and their records. I mean, you can't argue with that. Doesn't matter who you pull for. You take your your biased glasses off and look at numbers and that.
Who else are your top 5 head coaches in college football history?
There's a lot of them. I mean, that you could put up there. I mean, obviously Newt Rockne would be one that would go up there with Notre Dame. I don't know wasn't Pete Carroll up there toward the top?
He should have been if he wasn't.
I think he was.
He had a lot of consistent winning. Tom Osborne, for me, is one worthy of at least how high does he deserve to go up. I think he's a top 5 guy.
Frank Solich was good, but Nebraska really hadn't been Nebraska since Tom Osborne left.
No.
And look at them now. I mean, did anybody ever foresee Nebraska falling to where they've fallen to? That's how fast it can happen. And they haven't gotten it back. I mean, they've gone through multiple coaches, they went through Callahan, they went through Bo Pelini. Now they've got, Frost over there who's returns home to hopefully save the play. It just ain't worked.
Neyland, I'm sure, is one that's really high. I can't remember the list. The only thing I noticed was, I think that he was probably a top 10 guy, won several championships at Tennessee, and was built one of the best programs in the country. So I don't know. I thought that was interesting to see, and it just kind of speaks volumes on what kind of football program Alabama has. When you can say anything, I mean, when you've got the top 2 of anything, let's just say if you had the top 2 players of all time on your list, gosh, that tells you. But when you got the top 2 coaches, you've done a whole lot of winning.
And they have. I mean, look at those 2 guys. I mean, what are the chances of a university getting – I mean, look at all the different coaches that have come through for all these big universities, and all have had maybe one guy, that stood out. What's the chances of getting the best 2 ever? I mean, seriously, what would the odds be on that?
None.
Well, it is. It's 100%. It ain't 0. It happened, 100%. Try to pull up that list because I think that's interesting to talk about. One thing we haven't really talked about a lot today that happened this week's a big deal. Is Chad Morris to Auburn. I mean, the discussion of him, and look at where Matt Luke ends up. He ends up as offensive line coach at Georgia. Sam Pittman leaves Georgia to start a singing career. I mean, I tried to keep a straight face. I couldn't do it. I mean, this guy right here, there's no part of me that thinks this is going to work. Even though he fits the profile for some reason of an Arkansas coach, and the guy's trying. I give him credit. I tweeted out that picture of him standing on the tarmac outside the plane, and he goes, I don't even know what he said. And his eyes, he looked like he hadn't slept in 3 days. And, he knows what he's tasked with, but, this is a guy that probably isn't, an extroverted guy that fits that personality trait, but he's having to do this kind of stuff now to compete with who he's going up against to try to get some of these recruits. So, Freshwater's back over at Ole Miss, and he's tweeting about Alabama, and Ole Miss fans are already on him. He ain't even got on the field yet, and they're like, "Would you please remind yourself that you're at Ole Miss now, not at Alabama anymore?" The thing about Lane Kiffin that people don't understand is there is a motive behind everything he does. He isn't stupid. He's needling somebody, or he is prodding somebody with everything that he does. So there is a method behind the madness. And somebody put an article out about why he chose to come to Ole Miss, and he wants to get back at Nick Saban and all this kind of stuff. And he tweets out immediately, that is not the reason at all. And then he tweets out a dolphin flipping up in the air and diving. Nobody even knows what that means. It's like some kind of code that only he understands. So, this thing's going to be interesting. But Arkansas, it ain't going to work, man. Sam Pittman, I hate it for you. You get paid. That's a good thing about it. But he's not going to be able to compete in this division.
Well, I'm glad Lane Kiffin's in it now.
Well, it didn't take him long to get back in the fray with all the tweets and the jabbing of people. And look, Nick Saban, for what you want to say, is going, I have got to put up with this guy all the time. He's going to be on the same tarmac with me at the same little city that I'm going to recruit this. He's going to be on my rear end all the time, like a little mosquito, like a little gnat. And I think that's his plan. That may be his plan all the way around.
But that gnat helped him.
The gnat helped him, but it's like Luke said.
That gnat was as beneficial to Nick Saban as moving into the wishbone was to Bear Bryant.
It was.
He changed it.
It did. I think it may have saved Nick Saban as far as
As far as just sheer greatness.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I'm not saying he wouldn't have won games, but it's like Luke said, and I can't repeat everything that was said. He said, even Nick Saban said, before the playoffs started, you got to pack your stuff and get out of here. I can't take this no more. And, I mean, that's just kind of what Lane Kiffin is at Tennessee, at USC. I mean, they left him on the tarmac out there. It's just that kind of stuff.
Did you hear his rant on analytics and bringing a group in that they will hire at Ole Miss to consistently give him analytics and give him give him different observations from the opponents and what's going on with the competition? Did you hear that?
Didn't read that.
I'll pass that out. I mean, I thought that was interesting. It gives a little bit more of how his brain's working. I think you're right. I think he does have an end in mind, and he's playing the game all the way around. Now, he hasn't shown greatness yet.
He hadn't really.
So I can't give him that this is just some kind of genius that's out there. But I think Ole Miss didn't have a chance. I don't think they had an option, and I think the option that presented itself, because I do think his ceiling's really high if they can ever corral whatever's going on in that mind.
It is. I can't get Sam Pittman out of my head. I'm sorry. Up against another break. Stay tuned. More of the Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
Is our number one concern. Advanced heat and air.
With the hot summer season just around the corner, it's time to decide if your current air conditioning system will keep you cool this year. Call Advanced Heating and Air Conditioning for a free estimate on a brand new energy-efficient Trane heat pump system for your home or business. Your comfort is our number one concern. Call Advanced Heating and Air Conditioning at 256-234-5052.
WOTM, your new home for high school sports in Alabama. WOTM has you covered with live coverage of all 7 championship games of the Super 7. WOTM is available to all TV providers in Alabama. If WOTM is not currently a part of your channel lineup, call your provider and request that they add WOTM. WOTM, your exclusive TV home for the AHSAA Super 7 basketball, baseball, and softball championships. All live only on WOTM.
Growing your business isn't just one thing, it's a million little things. Should you lease, rent, or own? How fast can you get that part? Does it fit the budget? That's what your local Cat dealer is here for. With expert advice, flexible financing, and industry-leading equipment, you can get the job done, day after day. Visit ThompsonCat.com, your compact equipment provider.
Grab a 5-quart jug of Napa conventional motor oil for only $12.99 for a limited time at Napa Auto Parts. We're ready for back to school, even if you aren't ready. Purchase any Napa automotive battery and receive $25 back by mail at Napa Auto Parts.
Life is a sequence of little successes. The story of my Southern Union success began the day I walked on campus, making new friends, mastering a new skill, reaching a personal goal, the encore performance, the first date, the internship, and now, soon, the dream job. That's the story of my Southern Union success. Register for classes and get ready to watch your Southern Union story come to life.
The Prestige Selection at Gills Auto Sales in Opelika has the largest selection of prestige cars, trucks, and SUVs in Central and East Alabama, all with financing available, little to no money down, and extended warranties. Get pre-qualified in under 2 minutes, online or from your mobile device at GillsPrestigeOnline.com. It's the Prestige Selection at Gills Auto Sales, 1430 Gateway Drive in Opelika.
Welcome back to the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown. I'm telling you, just go out there and find that video of him standing by that airplane about midnight one night. He's delirious. I think it's already gotten to him. Yes, sir, Sam Pittman, buddy. And all the Arkansas fans have already been retweeting going, that is already annoying, as you know what. I mean, this is Lane Kiffin at Ole Miss, Sam Pittman at Arkansas. I think Georgia picked up a really good hire in Matt Luke, offensive line coach. He can recruit. I think Auburn picked up a good, if Gus Malzahn will let him do what he's supposed to do. Chad Morris. This is kind of what we all anticipated. It's where we got started with this discussion on coaches changing around. Chad Morris to Auburn.
Well, let's just see if, like you said, the question here is how much does he turn over to Chad Morris? How much of the passing game do we see change? And if it does, that will really be good, because the one thing we can say is when the passing game is good to great, Gus Malzahn can run the football.
Oh, yes.
He can coach rushing offense. And Chad Morris has produced at his best stops and in his best years with his best quarterbacks exceptionally good numbers with passing efficiency, from numbers to touchdowns, yards passing, all the way around. Chad Morris has proven he can do that. And so that's, hopefully with the friendship that they have, the stubbornness will subside and we can get greatness again back on the offensive side of the ball for Auburn, which is what we expected with Gus Malzahn as the head coach, because as long as Kevin Steele's there and this staff that we have together on the defensive side of the ball, I think we're going to be just fine on that side.
I do too. We're going to hit a lot of different things here in the last 20 minutes.
Let me throw this out there.
Yeah, go ahead.
I want to hear the comments come across from Alabama fans, but wholesale turnovers at all on the coaching staff with Alabama? Do we think that there's going to be a change on the defensive side? I've heard at least some clamoring out there for Scott Cochran and the strength and conditioning coach. I know Lane Kiffin would like to have him as part of his team down at Ole Miss, but not only that, I've just heard the people out there that do this for a living talk about Alabama taking a step back on that side where they were 10 or 12 years ago way ahead of the game.
I already know what Lane Kiffin's thinking, and I'm going to throw it out there. I've heard the things about Alabama trying to go in maybe in another direction with their strength and conditioning program too. He'll spin that as a victory for the Ole Miss, because Scott Cochran's been with Nick Saban forever.
Yeah.
And a lot of people attribute the success of the program to Scott Cochran. If Alabama were to part ways with him and he ends up at Ole Miss, Lane Kiffin will spin this thing as, look, see, it didn't take me long to get back in the SEC and get one of Nick Saban's most consistent guys that's been with him. You know how he's going to spin it. You already know how this is going to go. So, yes, even if Alabama parts ways with him, Ole Miss, Lane Kiffin would welcome him over there to their program, will welcome in arms because of the image that it will portray and the opportunity to be able to bring somebody in that is still a really good strength and conditioning coach. To me, it's hard to believe that would be the problem. I think I heard a podcast you sent over to me, a guy talking about Alabama's deficiencies this year and the physical nature, and the secondary should have been better, and just should have been a lot better on the defensive side than what it was, and that you'd kind of seen a trend going in this direction the last couple of years that was disturbing for Alabama a little bit. And, against Clemson, against Auburn, against Georgia in the SEC championship game, the amount of points they've given up in these games is, over 40 points. So it's kind of shocking to know who Nick Saban's been his whole career, and to know that they're giving up those kind of points to those type teams. So they may be looking to move in a direction, but it's hard to believe that all of a sudden your strength and conditioning guy that's been so solid all these years all of a sudden don't know how to do it anymore.
Yeah, I'm with you. And he's also got a little glamour around him.
He does.
How
many strength and conditioning coaches can you name?
None. Him.
That's what I'm saying.
The way that he yells, the way that he's jumping around on the sideline.
They put him in commercials.
I think it was, when you look back at this era with Nick Saban, he may be the best hire he ever had. Because he consistently was with him. I thought he brought a culture of work and ethic with him to Alabama along with Nick Saban.
Guess who else wanted him? Kirby Smart tried to get him to go to Georgia with him.
It tells you how much they think of him.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. It's hard for me to believe that all of a sudden he don't know what he's doing. and that they're losing in the weight room. I don't think that's the case. There's some other issues. Maybe it's the coaches on the field.
Well, and part of the clamoring around has been the injuries. And they wonder, from a conditioning standpoint, why are all these injuries seem to be happening? Look,
sometimes you catch bad luck.
I know you do.
I mean, forever, Luke even said it. He said forever we went and didn't have any injuries.
Yeah.
Now all of a sudden you hit with a barrage of injuries. It comes and goes in waves. You don't have any explanation. You've said it before. Some guys are just more injury prone than others. Some guy can run through a brick wall and not come out with a scratch. Somebody can get up and walk across the floor and blow out an ACL. I don't have any explanation for that. And that's not Scott Cochran's fault. He hadn't changed what he does in the weight room, I'm sure. He probably does what Nick Saban tells him to do.
Or he probably does what the new age. I mean, these things change year in and year out, but that's just the hearsay. That's where the people, the talking
could
heads
they be parting ways? Yeah, I think they could be. Who's he go after there? Who does Nick Saban? That's a big deal. That's not like losing an offensive coordinator.
Well, you go get the very best, because if you were out there and you were a strength and conditioning coach anywhere, and you had that opening come up.
Oh, I know.
Oh, my.
But I'm looking at it from Nick Saban's standpoint. I'm comparing it to, look, I know offensive coordinators, defensive coordinators are important, but Nick Saban has been able to fulfill those because it's still his philosophy.
Yeah.
Strength and conditioning is totally different. He relies on Scott Cochran to go in there and implement his plan to get his guys ready to do what they need to do to be successful. This has been the first time he's had to go do this and find this guy. That's an important part of the whole mix. You win games in the offseason in the weight room. That's when you win football games in your conditioning program. Saturdays are just that's for glitz and glamour. That's where the product's on the field. If you're not winning in the offseason and in your weight program every single day, you're not going to beat top teams on the field.
Well, we'll see. I think that there is a lot of smoke. Is there fire? Yeah. I suspect probably.
They have a lot of turnover every year. Alabama is.
It's part of what's so impressive about Saban.
That's right. They have the highest. They have the highest assistant pay scale of any college in any program in the country. $7.2 million is their pay scale for their payroll for their assistant coaches, and they have turnover. It's like Andy and I talked about, and they have turnover every year. So, I mean, they pay good. It's not because they're not paying good. It's because they move on to other opportunities,
that's the main thing.
And they do that. So they have been able to win. Auburn and Alabama on the court today. Auburn to take on St. Louis in the Mike's Live Classic on ESPN2 at 3 o'clock today. And, Legacy Arena. Auburn up to number 12 in the AP poll, number 10 in the coaches poll. Alabama will be at Penn State today. Alabama 4-4, Penn State 8-2. That game will be on the Big Ten Network at 1 o'clock.
Avery Johnson, he did no favors when he walked out of Tuscaloosa.
No, he didn't.
My gosh, going to Penn State?
I don't know.
Why? I mean, just why?
And played North Carolina.
I bet Oates is over there when he gets in his office. He goes, "What in the world was this guy thinking?" Really.
Amazing.
I guess Avery Johnson felt like he had the program to a certain level by this year.
And it didn't work out.
And it didn't work out, and now they're having poor old Oates. I mean, he doesn't have the system and the players in place to go and make a big time. And look, Bruce Pearl, it took him 3 years before he could turn Auburn around.
Boy, he's on the Vagabond tour right now.
He's still got to play North Carolina in the next week.
Well, they've already played North Carolina.
Oh, did they?
Alabama already played North Carolina.
I thought that was coming up.
No, they got beat in the tournament down in Bahamas. So, yeah, that game's already passed. So, they've gotten that one in the rearview mirror. They still got a few more coming up. Up against our final break of the show. Stay tuned. More of the Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
Skag, the toughest name in lawnmowers. Unmatched quality and performance for over 3 decades. The clear choice, the best mower money can buy for work or at home. Top lawn care professionals and discerning homeowners know that Skag means productivity and reliability. Every Skag mower is proudly built right here in the USA. Don't settle for anything less than simply the best. Skag.
Satterfield Outdoor Living on Highway 280 in Alex City.
Hey, it's Steve from the Car Stereo Shop in Auburn, and after 10 years of serving the good people of East Alabama and West Georgia, we're still doing business the same way, offering the best products at the best prices with the area's best warranties and installing them with the area's best technicians. With great customer service, a knowledgeable sales staff, and our commitment to customer satisfaction, along with the best selection of the latest technology in the industry, there's no reason to shop anywhere else. Shop with confidence. Shop at the Car Stereo Shop in Auburn.
Folks around these parts have known for a long time that Walls Tire, just a mile past the bridge on Highway 280, is your #1 stop for automotive service and repair. At Walls Tire, you'll always find quality service at a fair price on everything from AC, name brand tires, big or small repairs, routine maintenance, towing, and more. When your car or truck needs to run right, there's one place in the area to go, conveniently located and easy to find. Walls Tire, just a mile past the bridge on Highway 280.
At Russell Medical, our transitional care unit is a great alternative to nursing home care after a medical or surgical hospital stay. Transitional care increases strength and endurance through skilled nursing and therapy programs to promote a safe return home. Enjoy on-site therapy, private rooms, an activity center, and more. Call Russell Medical today to see if our transitional care unit is the right care for you.
Finding a job might be tough, but starting your new career has never been easier. Wellborn Cabinet in Ashland has a wide array of career opportunities with benefits. General labor production, skilled cabinet builders, product assembly line, shipping, over-the-road truck drivers, clerical, marketing, security, daycare, office clerks, and so much more. Apply in person, 38669 Highway 77 South in Ashland, or online at wellborn.com. Building cabinets, building careers, and building our community.
Since the dawn of time, mankind has needed tools. But not all tools are created equal. AGF Machine Rental Sales and Service has tools for all commercial construction or big residential projects. AGF Machinery offers the most durable and hardworking brands of ASV, Skyjack, and Wacker Neuson. Aerial lifts, scissor lifts, loaders, excavators, and forest equipment on demand for the best possible price. And backed by the Southeast's best team of professionals. Visit any of our strategic locations across Alabama for all your equipment needs. Or online at agfmachinery.com.
Welcome back. Final segment of the show here, and we appreciate everybody watching and listening. Again, Alabama playing Penn State, Auburn playing St. Louis, the Billikens. Did you know what a Billiken was? Did you watch yesterday?
Nope.
Still don't know what a Billiken is, do you?
What's a Billiken?
It's a charm doll. That's a charm doll. I thought Andy had looked up the wrong thing yesterday, but there is a statue on the campus of St. Louis that a lady wrote it came to her in a dream. She's from Kansas City, Missouri, back in the early 1900s. And it's a charm doll that brings good luck, and the thing looks like a demonic Buddha. I'm serious. I mean, we pulled it up, the picture, and so they're the Billikens. There's only one of them, because there's only one of them that's ever existed. So they can't really be the Billikens, can they? Because there's only one. So we debated this for a while yesterday. It kind of got interesting.
That sounds like, where was Luke? Because Luke.
Well, I think he was. I think he actually. I don't know if he was actually watching, but I got to find. I got to show you this.
They're 7-1, aren't they?
They're 8-1, but that's a Billiken. That's the charm doll.
That's the Billiken.
That's it.
Not a Billiken.
No, it's the only one that's ever existed.
Well, so it's a the.
Well, but they are the Billikens though. So there's obviously an army. This sounds like a Mike Leach thing. This don't sound like Luke or me or Andy. This sounds like Mike Leach describing what a Billiken is.
This needs to be asked.
He needs to be asked what a Billiken is. And it's right up there with the Sun Devil. You know, he gave the explanation of the mascots in the Pac-12 and who would win. And so he broke all of them down. He said, well, you know, Cal's got the bear, and he said, you know, a bear can maul you, but, you know, he said, you know, and if you're a Trojan, he said, are you fighting with a sword or a bow and arrow? He said, if you can shoot, you know, from a distance, and you're in good shape. You know, you don't have to have up close hand-to-hand combat. He said, but the outlier, the whole thing, it throws everything out the door is the Sun Devil. He said, you know, when you're dealing with magical powers and something that's got a pitchfork, like that, and it can inflict things from a distance. He said, you can't compete with that.
It really is. I'm disappointed we didn't get him in the SEC. He would have added a lot of color to the SEC, and I think he would have added good football to to a program that needs help like that. Don't you think?
I agree. He seems like he would be a good fit. It has to be the right. That's the only thing I think could have gotten Arkansas up off the mat.
I agree.
Is him.
Yeah, somebody like that.
Sam Pittman trying to start a new album on the tarmac somewhere in East Buda is not going to bring recruits to Arkansas. Him trying to jump in and be just a eccentric type guy when he's not.
Like Lane Kiffin.
Like Lane Kiffin's not going to work. Sam Pittman's a good offensive line coach, and I think his offensive line at Arkansas will be good, but the rest of it won't be. And you're going to see his brain scattered out over the field every Saturday by whoever they're playing. And then Lane Kiffin's going to win one game a year he's not supposed to win. Is it going to be Auburn? Is it going to be Texas A&M? Is it going to be LSU? Is it going to be Alabama? I don't know. He's going to beat one of us. It's going to happen because of the way he does things and the way he's able to coach and kind of get people rallied around. But Mike Leach is the only person I can see in the country that could have brought life to Arkansas.
Let me tell you
how
hard the Arkansas job is. Here are the last 4 years that Chad Morris had at Clemson: 512, 507, and 408. That's the offensive output. The last 2 years he had at SMU: 427 and 478 per game. Here's what he did at Arkansas as a head coach: 335 and 340.
Yes, sir. Sam Pittman's
going to be tough.
What he's heading into, buddy. You better find some help. I mean, some help. That's going to wrap it up here for the Saturday Sports Countdown. We've enjoyed it. We'll see you next week.